Before this video starts, I would just like to say that the DLC will be in a separate video. So, yeah, DLC in a separate video. Just thought I wanted to mention that just before the video started. Hello everyone, welcome back to the final part in LEGO Marvel's Avengers. So today is the character showcase. And hopefully once we've purchased all the characters in this video, we will be 100%. So, let's start off up the top. It is going to be my standard way of doing it. So we're going to be purchasing the character and then actually showing it off parts of it. So we're going to start off with A-Bomb. He costs 80,000 studs. I believe no, he cannot. That's the LEGO Marvel Superiors 2 version. Oh wait, no, he can. Never mind. Hold circle and he goes invisible. So that's cool. So he can go invisible. He can switch to I've forgotten this guy's name. Rick Jones. That's it. So he can switch to Rick Jones as well. Rick Jones cannot go invisible, unlike in LEGO Marvel Superiors 2. That's where I was getting the confusion wrong. Next we have Abomination. I'll say it again just in case you didn't hear me because of that. Abomination is the next one. He is 75,000 studs. There he is. He does have a unique smackdown ability, which is pretty cool. Next we have Absorbing Man. I forgot to check the price. Ah, bugger. Never mind. Sorry about that. Now, I'm not fully acquainted in my with Absorbing Man that much, but I have come to understand at least a little bit about him, so that's cool. Next we have let's start with the standard Agent Coulson. He has a standard gun, and I think he has bombs. Yeah, he does. Bombs as well. Then we have Agent Coulson Destroyer Gun, which is basically just this gun. I prefer the gun, the sound of this gun from the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game, the first one in 2013, but oh well. Next, we have Agent Carter. You unlock her as part of the story, which is why she's already been purchased, because you don't need to purchase her. Then we have Agent Carter Retired. So exactly the same. Both of them have a gun, and that's pretty much it. Then we have Agent Sitwell. Again, standard, just a gun. Nothing that truly special about him. Oops. Agent Williams, once again, just a gun, although he is part of the main campaign, so once again, that's why he's already unlocked. Then we have Aim Agent for 5,000 studs, so he's very cheap. Again, standard gun, although it does look pretty cool. Aldrich Killian for 85,000 studs, I think. He has the ability to shoot out fire. That is really cool. I love that ability. And if you press circle, he gets 2 enemies come up. 2 enemies come up to help him for whatever reason. Then we have Amadeus Cho for 150,000 studs. He also has a electricity ability similar to Thor. So if you wanted to have it change up and not use Thor or Black Widow constantly, you could purchase him once you unlock him and use him instead. But there we go. America Chavez is next for 70,000 studs. She's pretty standard. She doesn't have anything special, although I do like her outfit. Then we have Ant-Man Classic for 250,000 studs. He can shrink, and I can't remember, can he grow? Yes, he can. I believe LEGO Marvel's Avengers, this game is actually the very first game where they're able to grow. I think. I believe. Next we have Ares. So, pretty cool. I believe, yeah, he does have a spinny, I don't know what you'd call that. I'm going to call that a spinny attack, or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it. Next we have Archon. So she, once again, has a spin attack. And she just has a sword and a shield. I do like the shield. He or she? I'm not actually sure. I think it might be a he, actually. Not sure. I always thought of them as a she, but maybe it's a he. Then we have Arnim Zola. Classic. Arnim Zola, that is. He doesn't have anything special. He just punches. He doesn't even have a gun. But then we also have the standard Arnim Zola for both of them cost 90,000 studs. So this is the version from the 1940s. Again, nothing special. Next we have Baron Strucker. He just has a gun, but he can use Hydra terminals, and actually so can Arnim Zola. So there we go. Next we have Batroc for 10,000 studs. Again, nothing truly special about him except maybe the character that he actually is. Beta Ray Bill for 25,000 studs. Pretty cheap for the character that he is, but there you go. Basically, he's another version of Thor in terms of abilities and stuff. Next, we have Beth the Waitress, a standard character for 10,000 studs. Oh, she does throw cups. I wasn't expecting her to do that. And she does do a spin attack. Again, not expecting her to be able to do that. That's interesting. Next, we have a Black Goliath for 175,000 studs. I believe he can... Yes, he can. He can grow. He can't fly, though, can he? No, he can't. Next, we have Bengal. I believe that's how you purchase him. So I believe that's how you pronounce him, sorry. God, I was thinking of two things at once there. Oh, he has 2 swords and a spinny attack. Don't know why I'm calling it that, but oh well. I know I keep saying that, but whatever. Next we have Black Widow. This is the standard version with 2 guns and that's it. Oh, she can turn invisible, obviously. Then we have the Avengers Age of Ultron version, which can also turn invisible. And can also use electricity terminals. Next we have Blazing Skull. Here's the replacement. He costs 250,000 studs. He's the replacement for Ghost Rider. I'm not sure why they weren't able to get Ghost Rider, because he is part of the MCU in that sense. That he had his own TV show, I think. So maybe the TV show isn't canon towards the MCU. I don't know. Next we have Blue Marvel for 175,000. I believe he can fly. He can, yes. I don't think he has anything special, does he? Oh, he can clap. He does that little clap thing and shoots out electricity beams. Next we have Brock Rumblo. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. A standard gun, that's pretty much it, I think. Does he have explosives? No, he doesn't. And finally, for the first row, we have Bruce Banner, who can obviously turn into the Hulk. And then, of course, we also have the Hulk Avengers Age of Ultron. I actually prefer this version over the other version. And then we also have Bruce. There is also a version of Bruce Banner that's Avengers Age of Ultron as well. Right, let's start with the let's go to the next row then. Bucky Barnes is the first character in the next row. So again, standard. I don't know why I'm holding it for so long. A standard gun and and also explosives, actually, yes. And then we have we also have the classic version of Bucky Barnes as well, which has the same abilities. Next we have Butterball. So he has the ability to do that little clap thing, except he actually uses something. Also when he's running, for some reason, sometimes he just randomly falls over, so that's a bit weird. Don't really know why that happens, but there you go. Oh, cool. Is it there? Yeah, it is. Alright, cool. So now, next we have lots of different versions of Cap. So starting with Captain America, the standard version that's in the game. This is part of the first Avengers film. Then we have the Avengers Age of Ultron look, which is basically similar to his 1940s attire. Then we have the classic variant, which is basically the same as the standard one, except lighter blue. We have the no helmet version. And by the way, all of these have the ability to put out fires and use the cap shields. The cap shield terminal things. Except for one. Then we have Captain America No Helmet Avengers Age of Ultron. Then we have Captain America Civilian, which I feel like he shouldn't have a shield with him, but never mind. Then we have the gym version of Steve Rogers, which has, and then we also have the boxing gloves variant as well, which is basically the same bit, obviously with boxing gloves. And I believe that's it, isn't it? Yes, it is. Next we have Captain America Bucky Barnes for 15,000 studs. Pretty much all the same abilities. Then we have Captain America Sam Wilson for 150,000 studs. So this version is nice because just like the space suit version I was using throughout my throughout the two streams that we did today and yesterday. We actually used that version could fly, so this is exactly the same. This version can fly and use the shield terminal. So if you're trying to use them, but you try and use a different character, then you could use this version. Next, we have Captain Britain for 250,000 studs. He's got a little shield, which is actually pretty cool. And that's it. He doesn't have anything else on hold. And then he can't throw it, and that's pretty much it. He can fly though, so that's pretty cool. Captain Universe for 75,000 studs is next. This version, this character, she can fly, and she looks pretty cool. Next we have Chase, not Chase McCain, obviously. That would be quite weird. But for 30,000 studs, she has heat beam. Yeah, just double checking it was always a heat beam. On a he. Is it? It's actually a he. Never mind. My bad. Oh my god. Next we have Chitauri Taurus for 20. Was it 25,000 or 250,000? I can't remember. Never mind. This version's just a Taurus with the Chitauri. He basically shoots out camera roll in a sense. I don't know. Does it blind? Can I just see? Yeah, no, it just hits him. Alright. Next we have Cloud9 for 100,000 studs. She can fly. That was that mission right at the very first New York video that wasn't collecting Stanley in Perils. She was one of the missions we did in that first video of the characters. Next we have the Collector for 250,000. I feel like he should have cost a lot more, but oh well. To unlock, I am actually going to explain how to unlock him because this one's a lot different compared to most of the other characters. The way to unlock him is to collect all the red bricks in every single level. He has a little shield along with, I don't know if that's a heat beam. I'm going to call that heat beam. And I don't know what that is, but he throws something. I don't know, does it harm? I mean, I assume it harms. Can I aim him? No, I can't. I assume it harms. Well, that's punching, mate. Yeah, it does harm him. Next we have Cottonmouth. I believe that's how you pronounce him, for 75,000. I don't know what that ability does. I believe it might be a glass breaking ability. Interesting. Next we have Count Nefaria for 500,000. So far the most expensive character, I think. And he's not even that special. He's just a cool character. He does throw skulls though, and he does fly too. Pretty cool. Next we have Crimson Dynamo, one of my favourite characters of the game, for 250,000. I assume it's a he, can fly, and has a heat beam as well. Next we have Crossbones Classic for 50,000 studs. So this is the version from the comics, not from Civil War. That version is part of the DLC, which we are going to showcase in this video, which is why that character there is the first character being shown in a sense. Crystal for 30,000 studs. Now she's pretty unique because she actually shoots out different types of beams each time you fire. Or it randomizes it. And depending on the situation, so she can actually be quite useful when it comes to challenges in the game, or completing challenges. Next is damage control for 10,000 studs, very cheap. For some reason he's got yellow hands. I don't know if it's because he's wearing gloves or what, but I assume that's why. Next we have Daredevil for 250,000. A very unique and awesome character. I do quite like him. Very nice. Next we have Dark Elf for 5,000, so very cheap and very simple. Just a standard gun and explosives. Next we have Death Locket for 150,000 studs, I believe. Oh, it does do something unique actually, that. He just shoots out electricity beams and an electricity beam as well. So electricity bolts, sorry, and an electricity beam. Next is the Destroyer minifig for 5,000 studs. Obviously they couldn't do the giant fig, although to be honest they probably could do the giant fig now that we have giant figures like Fin Fang Foom. Or Fin Fang Foom, sorry, I always get him wrong. I always think it's Fin Fan Foom, but it's not. It's Fin Fang Foom. He has a heat beam. And that's pretty much it. And heat bolts as well. Demolition Man for 80,000. I guess that is pretty cheap actually, isn't it? Again, so he can grab rocks. That's pretty much it. There's nothing too special about him. Next is Detroit Steel for 350,000, in fact, studs. This is actually a pretty cool. To be honest, you reminds me of one of. Oh yeah, I forgot. All flying characters. All flying characters do have a all flying characters do have hyper jumps. So there you go. Next we have Devil Dinosaur for 150,000. I'm surprised I'll be able to actually stand him here, but there we go. He's actually pretty cool. Oh my god, he even does a roar. Wow, that is awesome. I love Devil Dinosaur. I assume that if you wanted to, could probably break glass. Next is Diamondback for 60,000 studs. I don't. Oh, she's got explosives. And then she's also got a throwable, which probably damages people. Next we have Dr. Helen Cho for 20,000 studs. Standard, she just punches, there's nothing special about her. Right, that's it for that row then. Next is Dr. List on the third row. Again, nothing special, he just punches, it's not. Next, we have Doctor Strange for 450,000. This is the comic book version because the MCU version didn't exist yet. At the time of the game being made. He's got very unique attacks and, of course, can fly. Next, we have Dum Dum Duncan for 5,000 studs. Again, a simple character with a gun. That's pretty much all he is. Next, we have Echo for 70,000 studs. She has a sword, which to be honest is pretty cool, and she has this ability as well. Quite a lot of the characters with the same abilities, to be honest. Next, we have Egghead for 40,000. He's quite expensive considering that he doesn't really do anything. Okay, no, he does have a beam. Or not a beam, let's call that a throwable, not a bolt. It's not really a bolt, is it? Although it is a bolt because of the sound it uses. I'll actually kill him. It isn't one hit, he just happened to be low health. Next we have Ellen is it Brennett or Brennett or Brend? I'm not sure. 50,000 studs she costs. Now, I'm hoping that this video isn't going to go on for like an entire hour, because otherwise I have to split it. Next we have Eric Selvig. Again, nothing special, but he also has his untidy appearance. Untidy appearance is basically the shirtless appearance, except they couldn't do that because this is a age 7 game, so they weren't able to do that. So they chose to do untidy instead. At least I think that's why. Extremis Soldier for 20,000 studs is next. I'm actually going to start going through these a little bit quicker now. Similar to Aldrich Killian, although they don't have a heat beam. Then we have Falcon. He's got silent guns and he can fly. Now, he does have a unique ability when you stop flying and you stand in one place. He puts the wings away like that, which I think is really cool. Then we have Falcon Classic for 60,000 studs. So, very nice. Next, we have Faendril. Again, he's just got a sword. Not really that special. Except, I mean, the character is special, but his abilities aren't. Next, we have Finese. Again, nothing truly special. Basic abilities. I mean, I guess if you put it, every character has basic abilities, but there you go. Fin Fang Foom for 250,000 studs. So not only is he a big fig, he can do that, and he has a heat beam, but also he can turn into a giant fig. Or not, you know, that's cool too. Can we do it from here? Yeah, there we go. So he turns into a giant fig, and he's even bigger than that other fig from before. Oh, that's why we couldn't, that makes sense. Very nice. He's actually really cool. I love Fin Fang Foom. Next we have Firebird for 150,000 studs. Simple attacks, nothing truly special. Gargoyle for 50,000 studs. Do you have any abilities? No, he doesn't. Again, he's a basic character. Next is Gorilla Girl. Reminds me of Gorilla God, but that's DC. 120,000 studs. So she can do pretty much. She's basically Marvel's answer to Grodd, except a hero instead of a villain, I think. She's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Then we have the Grandmaster, or just Grandmaster. He's got a clap ability, an electricity ability, or a heat ability, I'm not sure which one that is. And that's pretty much it. Oh no, and bolts as well. Next, we have Grim Reaper for 30,000 studs. Pretty cool bolt ability, if you ask me. Pretty unique. Like the animation, that is. Next we have Happy Hogan for 25,000 studs. Again, simply just has a gun. Next we have Harley Keener. A simple toy gun. But there you go. Next we have Hawkeye or Clint. He's got the bow and arrow, and he's quite useful because he can destroy silver and gold Lego objects as well as glass Lego objects as well. So he's probably one of the more useful characters in the entire game. Avengers Age of Ultron variant as well. I prefer this version with his hair. And then of course the classic comic book appearance as well. Next we have Hawkeye Kate Bishop for 75,000 studs. She's pretty much got exactly the same abilities as Clint. There you go. Next we have Hazmat for 90,000 studs. Again, a basic character, but actually no, they do have bolts. Or she does have bolts as well as a beam. Okay, never mind. I thought she was a bit boring, but I guess not. Next we have Heimdall. He's basically just a swordsman. That's cool, but we all love Heimdall. Next we have Hellcat for 45,000 studs. For some reason, Hellcat has always reminded me of a mix between Batman and Batmite. I don't know why. Even though she's nothing like those two characters, plus she's in Marvel and not DC. But there you go. Next we have Hogan for 30,000 studs. Cool, you actually put it away and get it back again, and it uses a sword sound, just like Pirates of the Caribbean. Finally, for the third row of the character grid, we have Hulk Killer for 950,000 studs. So far, the most expensive character in the entire game. So far. He's basically just Red Hulk, but without the hair, pretty much. Hulking for 75,000 studs is next. He can fly with his wings, which is pretty cool. He does a similar thing with his wings, just like Falcon does. Next we have Human Torch Original for 250,000 studs. So there you go. Next we have Iron Fist for 75,000 studs. Again, basic but still a cool character. Then we have Iron Legion. They have all of Iron Man's abilities except for the laser beam. Then we're going to start with Iron Man. So we have Iron Man Mark 1 for 10,000 studs. This is the only version of Iron Man that cannot fly. However, he does have a type of heat beam, except it's not as strong. And he does have explosives and everything as well. We're not going to show off the animations for the Iron Man. I already decided that way back before I even started this series. Because I knew it wouldn't be a good idea. Mark 5 is the next armor. For 50,000 studs. This version can fly, obviously. This and has explosives and also an explosion attack. Next we have Iron Man Mark 6. This version does have a heat beam, which is funny because actually in Lego Marvel Super Heroes 1 he didn't. His suit didn't. So it's interesting why they chose to do that. I mean, I know in the movies he did it, so maybe they wanted to make it more accurate to the actual movies. Next we have Mark 7. Again, very similar to the Mark 6 in pretty much every way, except for the arc reactor. Then we have Iron Man Mark 16 for, ironically, 16,000 studs. This version can turn invisible, which is pretty unique for this. And this version has an explosion attack. Then we have Iron Man Mark 17 Heartbreaker for 17,000 studs. This is one of my favourite suits in my opinion. Especially the chest piece, it's very nice. This suit does have a glitch when you zoom in far enough for some reason. Oh wait, no, they patched it, never mind. Either that or it was a glitch in Lego Super Heroes 2. Except it isn't, because that suit's not in Lego Super Heroes 2. So it looks like they patched it for the current gen versions, or last gen versions as they are now. Mark 25 for again, ironically 25,000 studs. This is the suit that we unlocked back in the Preparing for Free Play video. This is the only suit that doesn't have either an explosion attack or a heat beam, but it can go through those like grates and those special ones that I can't remember what those are called. But you saw me use Dormammu to go through those, so there you go. Next we have Iron Man Mark 33 Silver Centurion. This is the suit that I was talking about that has the ability to use super strength. It's also the pre-order suit, so it's also the pre-order character that you get with this game. So when you pre-ordered the game or bought the game on day 1 or day 2, you would have gotten this suit, which I did because I pre-ordered the game way back from my 360. Next is Iron Man Mark 40 for 40,000 studs. I see a trend going here. This version has super speed, which is pretty cool. Next is Iron Man Mark 42. Basic, again, all the same abilities. Iron Man Mark 43, again, all the same abilities. And I believe, finally, Iron Man Mark 45. And I believe that's it. Nope. Superior Iron Man for 50,000 studs is the last Iron Man suit. This version's cool. It does actually have a unique animation. So if you'd like to see that, then let me know whether you want me to do a separate one-off video where I show off all the animations for every single suit of Iron Man. Next, we have Iron Man Mark 38 for again 38,000 studs, which is very ironic. This version can fly, I believe. No, it can't. So it's other than Mark 1, it's the only other suit that cannot fly. Next, we have Ironmonger. Oh yeah, we missed one suit with Iron Man, that's the Hulkbuster, but again, if you want me to show off that suit, then I'll need to do a whole suit showcase in terms of like just the animations for the suit. So if you do want to see that suit, then let me know in the comments below. There you go, that's the Ironmonger. Next we have Iron Patriot. Basic, explosions, stuff like that. Jack of Hearts for 125,000 studs. Oh, he can fly, that's cool. Didn't know that. Next we have Jane Foster, again a basic character, but sometimes having basic characters is fun. Next we have Dual Jessica Jones for 40,000 studs. Very nice. Next we have Justin Hammer for 20,000 studs. This video is going to be very long, by the way. Next we have Claw Henchman for 50,000 studs. Next we have Komodo for 60,000 studs. Again, most of these are pretty basic, although she does have a tail whip, which is basically similar to those spinny attacks. Next we have Korvac for 100,000 studs. He's pretty bright, so I won't stay on him for too long, but he does have a beam as well as bolts. Next we have Curse for 80,000 studs. Basic Big Fig. Next we have Lorphy for 30,000 studs. He's got bolts as well as an ice beam. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have an ice beam, never mind. Oh no, he does. Just didn't register properly. Next we have Laura Barton, another basic character for 5,000 studs. Next we have Leader for 50,000 studs. Again, basic gun, but sometimes it's not about what abilities they have, it's about, you know, how they act, who they are. Next we have Lightspeed, other than that speedster suit for Iron Man is the first official speedster in the game for 76,000 studs, or 75,000 studs probably. But not only is she a speedster, and can, you know, move pretty fast, but she can also fly, which is pretty cool. Plus, if you use her speed to your advantage, you can get pretty fast when you start flying. So yeah. Next we have Loki for 125,000 studs. This is the basic version of Loki. No, I was just checking. Okay, so Loki does have a ground poundy type ability. He can grab duplicates of himself, which is actually really cool. Next we have Loki no helmet. All versions of Loki have an ice beam. Okay, so that version can do it too. And finally we have Loki suit for 125,000 studs. Very nice. Next we have Laura Lee for 60,000 studs. Another basic character, but you know, like I said, basic characters are fun sometimes. Next we have Lau Ferrino, one of the characters I don't really like in this game too much. 10,000 studs. He can turn into a version of the Hulk. Not going to show that off because it's pretty basic. Luke Cage for 25,000 studs. There's only one version of Luke Cage in this game, I believe. Compared to Lego Monster Bridge 2, which I believe has 2 versions. Madam B is next. She's got a gun. Pretty basic. And finally for this row, Malekith for 150,000 studs. He's got beam. He's got electricity bolts, I believe they are, or heat bolts, and heat beam, and a clap ability. Right, second to last row. Mandarin Trevor Slattery for 3,000 studs. So he's got a football that he kicks, which is pretty cool. And he's got this. I love this because actually this is similar to what the Doctor had in one of the episodes in New Who. That's funny. I know that's random to bring up, but there you go. 60,000 studs for the standard Mandarin Classic. So he's got 2 and heat beams as well. Next we have Mantis for 70,000 studs. I much prefer the MCU version, but obviously the MCU version didn't actually exist until and when this game came out, so they had to use comic book version instead. Next we have Maria Hill. Again, standard gun, but she can shoot it pretty fast. Oh, and we have the other version, Maria Hill, which is Avengers Age of Ultron as well. Pretty cool. Next we have Maya Hansen, sorry, for 10,000 studs. Don't know why I said Maya. Then we have Mighty Destroyer, which for 500,000 studs. He's expensive. He can shrink. For some reason you have to hold it instead, but there you go. Next we have Mockingbird for 200,000 studs. She's also got a spinny attack with her swords. Next we have MODOK for 100,000 studs. He's pretty cool. Oh, he grabs enemies. That's pretty cool. He just fell to his death. That version didn't jump off, unfortunately, but oh well. Pretty cool. Next we have Moon Boy for 5,000 studs. That was pretty cool. Next we have Moon Knight for 75,000 studs. Quite like Moon Knight. For some reason I think he can glide. Yeah, he can. Next we have Moon Dragon, so a lot of Moon characters for 80,000 studs. She's got a beam, and I believe she can fly, yes. Next we have Miss Marvel Carol Danvers for 200,000. Then we have Miss Marvel Kamala Khan for also 80,000 studs. So she has the stretchy abilities, which is pretty cool. And she can grow and shrink, so that's pretty cool. And next is Nebula for 25,000 studs. I love this character. So what's funny is, even though she hadn't been introduced, even though I don't think she'd been introduced to the MCU yet, they did still put her in this game, which is nice. Nick Fury is next. He's just got a standard gun, but you can also turn invisible, so that is pretty cool. He also has the bazooka, which is pretty cool. Then we have Nova for 125,000 studs. This is the comic. Obviously, he's not in the MCU, so he is the comic book version. I assume that if Nova were to appear in the MCU, it would be in one of the Guardians films. But I don't know. Next, we have Odin for 75,000 studs. Next, we have the Other for 100,000 studs. He's got scary beams, or bolts. I don't really know what you'd call that, but there you go. Pepper Potts. And I believe she has, oh no, it's, she has her rescue armor somewhere on the next line. Next we have Pepper Potts Mark 42. So this version of her this version can't fly, because she hasn't learned how to fly yet. She's not comfortable with that yet. Next we have the Protector for 85,000 studs. Bolts and... Can you fly? You can. Next we have Quasar for 100,000 studs. You can also fly. Pretty cool. Next we have Quicksilver. Obviously the standout speedster. And if you hold, then you speed up. Which that goes for every speedster in the game, including that Iron Man armor. Next we have Ragnarok for 25,000 studs. Again, Thor Ragnarok didn't exist at a time, so they went for the comic book version of it instead. Ravage for 50,000 studs. Basic Big Fig, nice and Red Hulk for 70,000 studs is next. I believe he can turn into Ross. I believe that's what his name is. General Ross, yeah. And he can switch back to the Hulk as well. Next, on the last character for this row, is Red She-Hulk for 60,000 studs. Oh, he died again. Right, last row of main character. Nope, second to last row of main characters, my bad. We have Red Skull for 25,000 studs. Standard gun, although actually having said that, it's not really a standard gun, is it? It's actually a futuristic style gun. Next, we have Reptile for 40,000 studs. You can fly. Next we have Rescue Armor, 60,000 studs. So she can fly. in this suit, Pepper can. Next we have Ronan the Accuser. This is actually the comic book appearance because he wasn't introduced to the MCU by the point this game came out. Then we have Ronan Blade for 55,000 studs. Another spin attack. Then we have Scarlet Witch, one of my favourite characters in the entire game. Don't know why, just is. Very nice. I do like her hair too. Then we have, of course, actually before we out, she does have this little safety beam thing, as well as an explosion attack. Then we have, also she can glide. Actually, no she can't. Pretty cool. Next we have the Sentry for 500,000 studs. Oh, that's a cool ability. Again, flight. Pretty cool. Next we have She-Hulk for 60,000. Interesting they chose to show Red She-Hulk first, but oh well. Similar abilities to the Hulk. Next we have Shield Scientist. Basic character. Sith. Pretty cool. Scar for 50,000 studs. Speed for 120,000 studs. Another speedster. Also, all speedsters can also duplicate themselves. Spitfire is next with 30,000 studs. Because she's a speedster, technically those speedsters can't go away. Next we have Squirrel Girl Classic. She actually has a Hulkbuster suit. So this is the same way that Hulkbuster appears for Iron Man. We also have the Undefeatable variant as well, which has the same abilities. Next we have Stan Lee for 50,000 studs. Considering who he is, he's pretty cheap. He's got a shield. He's got a speedster. Or he is a speedster. He's got a bow and arrow. He can also switch to Iron Stan. Pretty cool animation. For Iron Man Mark 1, that's the same animation, but Stan Lee comes. The only difference between this and Mark 1, even though it looks similar, is it can actually fly, so there you go. Next, we also have Stan Hulk, sorry. Pretty cool. And finally, the Hulkbuster Stan, or Stan Buster. Not gonna, actually I guess I should shut it off, shouldn't I? Pretty cool. It's got a pencil and stuff because obviously he was a writer in a sense because he wrote comics. Next we have Stryker for 30,000 studs. Another character with a shield and another character that can fly. Pretty awesome. Next we have Swordman for 60,000 studs. He does have a unique a unique bolt attack though, which is pretty cool. Taskmaster for 75,000 studs is next. Next is Thanos for 2.5 million studs. Definitely the most expensive character in the entire game. Pretty darn cool. Next we have Thor. Pretty basic. We've seen him throughout the main game, so it's not like we don't know who that is. And we also have the Avengers Age of Ultron variant as well. Next we have Thor Girl. This is not the... Oh. Wasn't expecting it to do that. Exactly the same abilities as Thor. Next we have Thor Jane Foster for 20,000 studs. Next we have Thunderstrike for 40,000 studs. Tigra for 60,000 studs. Pretty cool. Tony Stark. For some reason he's all the way down here and not with his Iron Man suits. And Avengers Age of Ultron, which he no longer has the arc reactor, so there you go. Also, that's what the thing looks like. I'll have a quick look at that. That's what it looks like with all the suits, you can see. Hulkbuster's pretty obvious what it looks like, so I'm not going to show that off. Actually, I just forgot I need to actually, I don't know. Next is Trauma for 20,000 studs. A little a Scream character, didn't know that. Right, final row then, we have Ultron Prime for 200,000 studs. Ultimate Ultron, who does have super strength. All versions of Ultron can summon in goons, I believe. And then we also have Ultron Mark 1. Yeah, you can. I was just double checking if Mark 1 can actually summon them in. Next, Ulysses Claw. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Why are these still here? Why can we go through? It looks like this wasn't rendered properly. Look at that. That one was, and that bit was, but this bit wasn't. Look at that. You can go straight through. There's still a wall there. It's simply just that the wall's not been placed in the correct position. So you can walk straight through it, and you can outright leave. Glitched. I'll have a look at that once we finish up to see if we can actually fall. Next we have Union Jack for 75,000 studs. Again, basic. Ultron Sentry for 25,000 studs. Similar ability to Ultron. Ultron Sentry Officer for 25,000 studs. Similar to Ultron again. Valkyrie for 85,000 studs. Pretty cool. Veil for... I forgot to check the price, but never mind. Pretty cool. Viper. Oh, she's got a gun. Cool. Vision. Obviously, we know what his abilities are, so I didn't shut that off. Volstagg. Pretty. He's a small figure, I believe. Yeah. War Machine. Basic again. Wasp Classic for 150,000 studs. She shrinks when she flies, so that's pretty cool. Wendigo for 125,000 studs. White Tiger for 95,000 studs. She's also got a mini attack. Wiccan for 150,000 studs. His abilities is pretty cool. Winter Soldier for 40,000 studs. Basically the same as Bucky Barnes, which makes sense. Wizard for 25,000 studs. You can fly. And finally, X-Ray for 175,000 studs. But there we go. Yep, we're 100% now. So we did purchase all the vehicles. Thank goodness for that. So there we go. We're actually 100% now. We've shown off all the characters. So, yay.